Okay, let's go ahead and get started. A little bit earlier than I would normally do this, but how y'all doing? This is Sketch Weekly. If you're watching this, you're watching on YouTube because I haven't started the stream yet. So do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. And I'm going to go over some of the things that I've changed so it doesn't impinge on the actual stream. One of the things that I've done, you can see here I've got a brand new window open, and you can see over here, well, you should be able to see over here, in my layers panel, I've got all of the basic layers that I start with. And what I start with is I have my sketch layer, my composition layer, my line art layer, my shading layer, my color layer. Then I have a folder for reference, which starts out empty. And I have added a new background layer to my brand new file setup, so that when I fire up a brand new file, even if it's just a single press on this button, you'll see the third tab pop up here. Boom. It's exactly the same every time. And I get that background layer now, which I didn't used to get. I didn't used to have that. I don't think I have that on my current project, but it was something that I decided I needed. Another thing is, because I've been wanting to work more with the 3D models in Clip Studio Paint, I wanted to get into modifying and altering things so that I could start off by creating... I wanted to create a 3D model that essentially matches Gura's proportions. And you do that down here on the last button, the Adjust Body Shape and Size of 3D Drawing Figure in Detail. You click on that, and it allows you to come in here and just kind of alter all kinds of little things. So I went through and I altered a bunch of stuff, and I got the proportions more or less the way that I wanted them, and I set all of that up. And working from that, I'm going to be using a 3D model to start pose number 2 of the, or panel number 2 of the curtain call graphic that I've been doing for the past 4 months. And in any case, I've also done one other thing that's kind of important, which is, because of the way that I'm doing the multiple panels of the curtain call thing that I'm putting together now, I found that I frequently needed to make all of these layers, the sketch, the composition, the line art, the shading, the color, I needed to make those over again. So I said, why don't I make that just a one-button thing? And now I can do that with just the one-button thing. It makes a folder, it creates the sketch, composition, line art, shading, and color layers just automatically, and I can do that as much as I need to. Single button press on the side of the tablet, and that was done with an auto action, which I have the new image auto action over here, and then I have the new layer folder is over here. And all of these are just recorded macros that I've put together. And anyway, that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to go over. So what I want to do at this point is shut down this new image. I don't need to save that 3D model because I've got one already that I have been pre-posing. And that is over here on this layer right here. So I've kind of got the figure in the position that I want, and I want to start working from that. And this should be able to give me a better starting point, and from this better starting point, I can do a better job on this second panel. But for the moment, let me... I come up here and fire up the appropriate stuff so I can get these streams started. And I'll come down here into my voice chat channel where there is nobody, as usual. But you never know. Somebody may show up in the next few minutes. That's totally a thing that happens sometimes. And regardless, you're here. you're watching, you enjoy this sort of thing. So let's go ahead and fire up the actual stream by sharing my screen. And there it is. And we'll just power into a live presentation there. And there we go. Okay, so at this point, it's time to just start off with the next level of stuff. And to begin with, the first thing that I really want to be concerned with here is getting the right expression on her face. And there are a couple of things here. There's one thing in particular over here. If you zoom in real close on Gura's actual streaming model, you'll see that she's got right here, she has this little area right there. She has this little fold in the hoodie, and the shadows come around like this. And it's just much more detailed because there have been improvements to her model over the course of the character's life. So there are some improvements there that I want to reflect in the image. And you can see here they've given her collarbones. Didn't used to have those. And there are these little yellow threads here that go over her chest. So I want to add those in on this particular panel of the image, but I also want to add those in. I want to get those into the original one over here. I want to improve the detail on this a little bit. But to start off with, let's remain on our sketch layer. Let's turn our reference back on. Well, we don't need the reference right now, do we? We don't need the facial reference. We can just kind of rough in from right here. What I want is I want the kind of hoodie here. No, that's not right. What I want is for this to kind of go right there. And that'll come up behind like so. And what she's going to be doing is just kind of squeezing in at the stomach. And if you look at the way the arms are right here, the sleeves are kind of baggy. So we want those baggy sleeves coming down, and we'll have this arm kind of up top. So we've got a baggy sleeve draping over the arm here. And we've got the sleeve coming over around here, and we want to draw just kind of the edge of the wrist coming out right there. So there is a hand, but we don't actually see much of the hand. And that way I don't have to draw a hand, which is useful. So we're going to have that. And obviously Gura's, we're representing Gura as significantly flatter than this model. So that's not going to be as pronounced. It's just going to kind of swoop up there. And then here, this hand, because we've got the baggy sleeve over here, this hand isn't even going to be visible. So we're going to have this sort of baggy sleeve here and a baggy sleeve here. And all of that is going to cover up a lot of the mouth design. So we're going to have just kind of the tail end of the mouth design there. And we'll have the little drool coming off of there, and we'll try to repair the representation of these pockets, because this pocket will be almost all the way off of the side there. But it's kind of a baggy pocket, so it'll kind of stick out. So there will be that, and then I want the tail to kind of come up and swoop around. I want it to sort of droop, so we'll have the top of the tail there, the bottom of the tail there, and this will just be kind of like she's switched her tail over to the other side. And then we will, of course, have legs here, and that we can just work from the existing model definition. But you can see here that Gura's got some slightly chunkier legs. That was hard to get reflected in the model. And this sketch isn't that great. Kind of have an idea what I'm doing with it though. So let's kind of, we want to come down to about this level. And I kind of like having a broader swoop and a lower hang in the, no, it should be a higher hang in the back. So it should have a swoop, but that'll swoop up there. And then we'll have the sleeve kind of bagging out there, and this sleeve is going to sort of fall over top there. And these sleeves are going to be a little problematic because we've got that gradient there, and I didn't do so great on the gradient over here, and I'm going to probably do even worse with it on the arms, because look at how we've got one gradient laying over top of another gradient. I don't have the highest confidence in my ability to do that, but I'm going to do what I can. And there's one collar there. And there's the other collar there. And then we've got the hat sitting here. And it's going to come up and around the head. And down. And then we're going to have this kind of swoop up around the head there. And up around the head over there. We're going to have this sort of chin strap thing going on there. There's a fin. There's a fin. And we will, of course, have the rest of it. And we'll have that. And then there's, of course, the hair. Oh. And here, 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 and here. And it swoops out over there. And then we've got the same basic thing here. This is going to look a little different because of the angle. I have to mess around with that a bit. But that hair will come down there, and we can actually, once I sort of rough in the legs here, and this bit right down here, we're going to have the shoes. That's going to be about how those fit in there. Got the outer swoop of the leg. And what she's doing here is she's just kind of squeezing in, and she's trying to kind of make her breasts pop, but she doesn't really have any, so there's not much going on up there, and she's got sort of a pout about it. So we want her eyes to be kind of wide. She's kind of going, "What the hell is this? What? There's nothing there. Like, nothing's showing up." And that little dinky dot of a nose goes there. So that's kind of the basic. And if I turn off the 3D layer, then we can kind of get an idea what that's going to look like. There's going to be a lot of fixing in this, I can tell already. Because I want to fix these proportions here. And she's standing up a little taller here, trying to kind of stretch up and get that, because over here she's trying to look kind of casual and carefree and have that bent leg and kind of leaning over to the side and just like, "Look at me, I haven't a thought in the world," which is typical of Gura. And then in this second one, she's going, "Wait a minute, I'm trying to show off my assets. Where are my assets? Where are they? They're not here." And then, of course, we've got the, in the third panel, she's really kind of stretching down, and we're going to have to kind of draw some hands, because we're going to need some hands gripping onto the edge of that dress and really stretching it, and we're really going to need stretch wrinkles and distortion in there. And then the final one, she's just going to be holding it up and looking down. And I've been thinking about how I want to do that one, and exactly what that pose is going to look like. But the critical thing is she has to be holding her. She has to be kind of holding it up and looking down, and it should be clear that she's disappointed. And I don't know, maybe she could have like tears in her eyes or something. Would that be too sad? Maybe that would be too sad. I'll have to think about it. But it would be cute. It would be terribly cute. It would be sad, but it would be cute. So anyway, we've got a rough in here of what we want this particular pose to look like. And let's start getting some composition together around that. So working from a composition standpoint, to just kind of make sure that I've got the right kind of idea. I want to make sure that the arms come down at an appropriate angle, that they have a correct proportion. Here's a shoulder. I haven't given her enough of a neck here, I don't think. Yeah, these hands need to come farther down. So let's dump that composition. We'll come back to our sketch, turn that back up to 100% opacity. And what I want is we want to pull this bit here down farther. So here's her head right here. This is kind of the location of the head. And here's this. Gura has a surprisingly long neck. We'll take it down to about there. And then this will be her elbow instead of that space there. So that'll be her elbow, and her elbow will come down here, which means that baggy sleeve will come down here. The primary thing that I want to get right on this is I want to get the proportions correct. And this elbow would come down just a little bit. There's the baggy sleeve, and this elbow here would be at about the same level, but it would be lifted up like so. So she could get her her arm up under there. So yeah, that would be about there. So kind of here's where that arm is, and here's where this arm is. Here's that little baggy sleeve on there. And here, up here on this one, we'd have kind of some creases, and then to here, this would kind of just be lowered down. What she'd be doing is just kind of a squeeze down like this, and this baggy sleeve wouldn't really come out that much because this arm would wrap around it. So she's kind of leaning back and has her hands around her midsection. So these arms then, actually let's wipe out that space there real quick. And elbows are going to come down to about here, and then her arms are kind of going to cross in front of her. So this arm here is going to go back behind this arm there. And we do want her kind of leaning back. So let me bring up the 3D model again. Let's think about that. This actually does need to lean farther back. So rather than muck around with the model, let's begin with we'll use the lasso tool, and we'll grab that, and we'll transform, and we'll rotate this back a bit, and then move it. But we want kind of a bowed pose, so we'll go with that. But then we want to take this right here, and we want to turn that, we'll rotate that the other direction. So that's sort of the effect that we're looking for there. If we go back to our brush, then this is going to kind of swoop down here, and we want I'm going to get our feet closer together. So we want sort of a, it's that pose I'm always forgetting the name of, Yasuhiko pose. This thing. And really lean back there, and really lean back there. Those are the important elements of that. But we still want We still want her head. Tilted downward. So, okay. Now then. So we want both of these legs significantly straighter. This one's actually fine, but this one needs to come down more like this. And may wipe out that bit there. So now kind of bring that in there. There's the sock. Here's the shoe pointing almost directly at us. And she's just kind of give more of a swooping nature there. So there's kind of an S curve going on here. This is not the greatest situation for that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to think purely in terms of, let's get rid of that, and we'll just kind of construct from scratch. Do a kind of pelvis, here's the spine, here's the chest, here's the head. He's kind of looking down. Here's arm across the. That's got to be kind of. This arm is kind of down and across. And this arm is also down and across. There's a sleeve there, and there's that. And we've got, at this point now, we have kind of a window into the, and we have more of the mouth showing here. So that's good, because that's like iconic. And that puts our shoulders here, which is about right. And there's a collar. And of course she's wearing her hat. So she's kind of looking down, has the little pout on her face. And if she's looking down more at this angle, we get a better look at her face. We're gonna have something more like this. she's going to be looking down, and there's the sleeve right here, and here's the edge of the dress. I'm not going to see much of the dress here, but it's got to be there. That, and then there's this hemline here needs to come up. So no. Line here needs to come up. Oops. About there, actually. I can deselect that, so then here is the thigh, and here's the calf, and here's the shoe. Thigh and the calf and the shoe. Just kind of stretching upwards, so we want to emphasize kind of a backward lean here. Okay, let's use our vector eraser, and we'll use it rather liberally right in this space. Back to the brush, and that to come down. Have our little want to have our little hemline on the dress, but I'm not sure. Here's the feet here. Feet! And I want to have that kind of backwards lean. I have that kind of bowing out action where she's leaning her upper body back and her lower body forward. Kind of try to press out her assets that aren't there. So this sleeve is going to conceal that pocket. And this sleeve will kind of sneak out here. And I think we'll actually have her fingers coming out and around. That's going to be a problem spot. I don't even know if that's going to be legible when I zoom in on it. Well, no less legible than my usual writing. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for there. It's just obviously very rough. And okay, I think that gets what I'm going for. And then up here in this area, this arm coming down like so. And we'll have just the bit of that mouth visible. And then up here we'll have, of course, the fish pole, and we'll have the those, and these little ties, those will work too, because these I can kind of swoop to improve the impression that she's kind of pushing out against them. A lot of the details at this point are going to be covered up. We're just going to have kind of the we're just going to have little bits and pieces like that, and we're going to have the detail on the chest there. We're going to put in the little yellow crisscross. Or maybe I'll skip that, actually. Maybe I'll just kind of keep the design the way it has been on these previous ones. Sort of the big question here, now this hat needs to come farther back from that, for one. I need to get this kind of wide-eyed looking down thing. So I think what we want to do is we want to do the shrinking irises. Something about like that. That's gotta be more. And then with the eyebrows, that should get us the facial expression we're going for, which is less, and it's what the hell is this, and more, hey, what's going on here? This isn't fair. So I think that's the expression that we really want to go for on this. And that is almost certainly the correct expression. So how do I want to start with this? I gotta think about this a little bit, and I'm just kind of running through ideas in my head right now. Made her a little leggier in the other one, so I should do that here too. Which means I should take this bit here and I should translate it upward somewhat. Bring that up to around here. And then take these over here and drag them over to the side. I'm going to use that to additionally clarify, additionally exaggerate the just kind of additionally clarify that she's really leaning into this. I think that's going to be a better indication of what's going on here. She's just kind of really trying to push those out. There's nothing to push out. And I think in the last frame when she's holding her hoodie up to just like look down, I think it should be bunched up around her face so you can only see her eyes. So it's just her eyes kind of peering over the edge. Anyway, that's how I'm thinking about that at the moment. I think I want to make the curve a bit more dramatic on this. And because she's turned to the side a little bit, we'd be able to see dorsal fin at the back. And of course, we need the tail. And the tail is going to be kind of drooping a bit. So I'm going to droop it down just a bit here. And it's just been kind of swished over to the side. So that's kind of the direction I want to go with that. Now, I've been wrestling really hard all week with this whole imposter syndrome thing, where I'm like, I just did literally the best piece of art I've ever done, which is this right here. Like, that, seriously, I've never done anything that good before in my life. I'm immensely proud of it. And at the same time, I have to, it's only a quarter of the final piece. I've got so much more work that needs to be done on it. And I'm worried for no reason. I'm unaccountably afraid that I will not be able to do as well on the rest of it. It'll turn out like, you know that horse picture you see on the internet all the time, where they're like, the way the project starts and the way the project finishes, and at the beginning it's this perfectly rendered photorealistic horse, and at the end it's just like a scribbled child's drawing. Yeah, I don't want to do that with this. I want to have it similar quality throughout. And the problem is, I know it won't be, because having finished this first panel, I know I can do better on the second. And I know once I've done better on the second, I'll be able to do better on the third. And the fourth panel is going to end up being the one that I do the best job on. So there's going to be like this progression that goes through it. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. But it cannot be helped. Ira Glass has said over and over and over again, and I've repeated him saying over and over again, the only way to do good work is to do a lot of bad work. All of your good work is on the other side of the bad work. So just start doing the bad work and get it done. And now that I'm actually starting to do good work, I'm like, Well, my work is good. Haven't I gotten where I'm going? Well, yeah, but I was coming here to do stuff. I'm very pleased with this first left-hand panel, but I cannot stop at that and just not do anymore. That's not even an option. So I need to work from that standpoint. And at the very least, I feel like my sketch has gotten into place a lot more rapidly than it ordinarily would have. Let me jack the opacity down on it and go into the composition and start actually thinking about how things are put together. There's the neck right there. And there's the shoulders. There's an arm, the elbow, clavicles, another arm, and another elbow right there. And then this arm is kind of coming across here, underneath. And the hand is coming off to the side like so. And this arm is coming across like this. And the hand is coming across here. So we're gonna see this pocket right there. And we're gonna see just the beginning of that design there. Here's the chest. We're kind of leaning that backward. Here's the spine. All this is here. And the legs are coming down and back to the feet here. And our knees are right about there. And that's about where they need to be. Okay. Let me turn on my guides. So we got our knees in about the right place. We got the crotch in about the right place. Waist is about the right place. Shoulders about the right place. Top of the head is about the right place once you take into account that we're working with the hood on. So if I turn off the sketch and look at that, I've got a reasonable construction. So that's good. I'll turn the opacity on that down. And okay, let's start on the line art. I'm tremendously nervous about this. For no good reason. Absolutely no good reason. Here's the there we go. And over here we've got that bit there. Here's the swoop of the swoop of the sleeve is going to come off of this. There's just going to be one smooth fall. But we're going to have some creases here and here. And similarly, here, this is going to have some creasing right there. And we want to skew that backwards a bit. That sleeve is not... Okay, that sleeve doesn't have the right... doesn't have the right swoop to it. It needs to be more voluminous, like that. Yeah. And then we got that there and that there. And this sleeve is going to come out over here. We're going to pull that bit there. There's a wrist, and here we're going to have some fingers wrapped around. And then the side of the dress. I'm trying to think of it as a dress. It's not a dress, but... And this will be the back of the leg there. And that will be the leg there. And now we've got kind of a, we've got a pretty reasonable initial line art. The refinement process still has yet to happen, of course, but we're going to have sort of a and that is going to be mostly hidden up under the hood. And we're going to have the hair coming down as well. So if this is the face right here, let's jump over to our sketch layer and we're going to go I'm just going to kind of divide it up. Now on our line art layer, we know we're going to have a pouty mouth here. But what kind of pouty mouth? I think we want a downward slanting one. I think the upward slanting one doesn't look right. So That doesn't look right. So that looks about right. Now, here we want the typical Gura line, like so. And that is a little much. So take that in, keep that down a bit. And now let's zoom in somewhat. And I want the bottom of the eye significantly lower. Oh, hold on. We want the top of the eye down, but we do still want the bottom of the eye to be kind of up off of the not sure how I feel about that. I want the eyebrows up and kind of innocent looking like so. And let's back that up. Let's go. Now we want this to be kind of goofy, but not too goofy. I think I've gone too goofy with these. Let's pull off these eyebrows here real quick, and let's and then we got eyebrows, and then hairline, which sits around the same place. And we're going to have the same kind of hairline here. So that's kind of what we're looking at here, and we're going to have more hair around the back, like so. But more importantly, we're going to have the chin strap of the hat coming around there. Here's the rim of that hat running around. And we're going to have some teeth coming off of the bottom there. Thanks to that, we're going to see kind of we're going to see kind of the edge of that color there, and here's going to be the back of the hat. There's the fin on the back of the hat. I'm going to have to work on those eyes. Those eyes are really the key to this expression, because that's important. And let's make the back of that a little bit wider and more substantial. And we'll have that coming along back there. There's going to be hair coming out of the back of that. Gura's hair is going to be kind of spilling out there. Edge there. Here's those little yellow bits. There's a little crease. There's that. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. Okay, that's we're over an hour. This is farther than I expected to get done. Okay, that's a lot for just 1 hour. We wanna a little bit more detail in there. We're gonna have the gritty part in there. I don't want to show that just yet, though. Okay, but Yeah, that's okay. That's gonna be that is gonna be pretty good look, I think. Her chin's gonna come over those teeth, though. Her chin's gonna come over that. Okay, that's pretty good for just this little bit of time that I spent on it. And then I want more of a change of direction here. I want a stretch of some sort to happen at that plate. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. I'm going to have to mess around with that a little bit. And then so like in the third one, she's grabbing it and she's pulling down, and then need the tail. That tail needs to have a distinctive change in direction. It needs to come out like that. I need to come down this. That looks about right. Kind of like that. It's still sort of neutral. It's hanging in its place. And they have that. That tail doesn't just come out of nowhere. The outfit has to go up over it, doesn't it? Or does the tail come through the outfit? Is there a hole in the back of the outfit, or does the outfit just kind of bump up? I don't know. I will have to do some research on that. Well, regardless, that will be for another time. I'm pretty happy with what got done here. If you're watching this on YouTube, do a little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all of that sexy stuff. And yeah, that's about what I can do for tonight. So, okay, bye.